Welcome everyone. In today's video, I just wanted to talk about something that is a little bit more serious. I'm sure you've seen this in the news. This particular protocol has made the rounds, particularly with different US sanctions, people getting blocked from this, that, and the other. And so I thought I'd talk about it today, what it is, some of the issues that have arisen, and some solutions around this. Because basically, with how it's currently functioning, anyone can really be targeted here and then be blocked from using a lot of stuff, as well as centralized exchanges actually blocking your account because you might have received dirty ETH from this particular protocol. So now I'm not actually going to say its name. I mean, you can see it on the screen, because I think a lot of people have had their Twitter accounts like shadow banned, and so I don't want to brick this YouTube account, so I'm just gonna refer to this protocol as TC for the rest of this video. So basically, TC has been added to a US sanctions list by the OFAC, and Bowtie Iguana has done an excellent thread on this. I'll leave a link in the description down below to this thread, as well as everything else that I'm covering in the video if you just want to take a closer look for yourself. So the OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets Control. They administer and enforce sanctions against high-profile individuals who are deemed hostile to American interests, and you can see some of the people that that they target here. So OFAC ensures that Americans cannot legally do businesses with certain countries as well without special government approval. And on August 8th, 2022, TC and all Ethereum wallet addresses associated with TC and its smart contracts were added to an OFAC SDN list. And effectively, that means that all of the TC is blocked, so they can't be used by any US persons. So that's including their Gitcoin grants wallets, and basically this is $437 million worth of stablecoins, ETH, and wrapped BTC that cannot be interacted with any US persons. Now this is a big problem, right? Because I mean, a lot of you are from the US, and I expect if the US has done this, then a lot of other first world countries are going to do the same. Well, particularly Western ones. I'm sure Canada is going to follow. I'm sure the UK is going to follow. I'm sure Germany is going to follow, and so on and so forth, right? And so you can see the real problem here. And so it's illegal for any US person to engage in trade, economic transactions, or other dealings with any person, company, or country on the SDN list. And that now includes TC. Now you can face fines, if you break this, $330,000 here, and you might get a violation that lands you up to 30 years in jail. I mean, if you're the average person, you do something by mistake, then you'll probably get a small fine, not jail time, but do you know what I mean? Like this is going to be a problem. And one of the immediate effects of this is that a bunch of USDC that was on TC has now been frozen. So even non-US residents are getting affected by this now. Now this is like an insignificant amount in the grand scheme of things, but this also shows that USDC is not going to be safe in the future, right? They've already shown willingness to freeze USDC in a smart contract, and they're likely to do it in the future as well. So whilst it might not happen in the next 12 to 24 months, within the next 5 years, there might be at some stage where all USDC is frozen, and then everyone will have to KYC it to actually get the USDC unfrozen. And so there has been a move towards a bunch of decentralized stablecoins as well, but this topic is for another video. I just want to talk about some of the immediate effects of the OFAC sanctions. Additionally, Infura and Alchemy are now blocking RPC requests to TC. In addition to this, we've also had FTX basically just freeze a guy's account because he sent money to Aztec Network. So if you're familiar with Aztec Network, it's a layer 2 ZK rollup for private DeFi, right? So you can interact with Ethereum DeFi, privately, and so no one can track your transactions. But FTX has identified its sort of use as a mixing service, and so they want to be proactive, and they've blocked this guy's account. And so I think, once we see something like this, we just got to know that don't use any mixing services. Don't use TC. Don't use Aztec Network for now, because it's likely in the future that you're going to get in trouble with centralized exchanges. And those are the only ways that you can actually really off-ramp any of your crypto. And so if you use them, you're basically putting yourself under the microscope for the IRS or any other tax authorities, as well as having the chance of your account being blocked at some of these centralized exchanges. Now, I've talked before about this, how I don't think you really should bother doing this. If you're the average, ordinary, non-whale, people don't really care about what you're doing on chain. They're not really seeing what you're doing, and so it doesn't really matter. Now, a bunch of you might think, this problem doesn't affect me. I don't use TC. I don't use any other mixers. Like, it's fine. Well, someone is actually going out there and dusting a bunch of wallets with Radioactive ETH, and so it makes it look like they've interacted with TC. Now, what's the problem with this? Now, it looks like, you're using TC, and you might face a little bit of problem with that, right? So a bunch of people have been actually blocked from using a bunch of different DeFi front ends. For example, someone sent some Radioactive ETH to Justin Sun, and now he can't use the Aave front end. Another example is this guy here. He never interacted with TC, but now his address is now blocked from using dYdX, and he has open positions there. And this was 10 days ago. Basically, anything can happen in 10 days, right? I mean, if he was long, he probably got liquidated by now, if we're being honest, if you've seen the charts in the last 10 days, right? So this is a real problem, but a bunch of tools have been developed recently that can help you get around this stuff. I mean, you can be a user of TC and it can be legitimate, or you could have been dusted with some Radioactive ETH, and so you are going to run into some of these problems. So I'm going to talk about some of the solutions right now. And for this specific example where you're blocked from using dYdX, you can go to dydx.l2beat.com. You can plug in your address, and so you can sign into MetaMask and plug in your address, and it will show you all of the balances that you have on dYdX right now, and you are able to actually interact with the smart contract and force an exit of your funds and then return to mainnet Ethereum. So all you would do, sign into MetaMask, plug in your address, and then you can see all the money that you have on dYdX. You can press exit here and then type in how much you want to exit, and then press a submit forced exit, and that will take your funds back to mainnet Ethereum. And here's another cool thing that people have made. So if you have been dusted with some Radioactive ETH and now you can no longer use Aave, Compound, Convex, Curve, Uniswap, or 1inch, basically they've created their own decentralized front ends that still allow you to interact with the smart contracts, right? So Aave, Compound, like all of those DeFi protocols, they've only put sensors on the front end. So if you have some Radioactive ETH, you've basically been blocked from using any of these front ends. However, you are still able to interact with the smart contract. So anyone with the know-how can actually create their own decentralized front end and still interact with those smart contracts. However, for the average person, you're not going to know how to actually do that, and so these people have made some decentralized front ends that you can interact with. So if we click the link here, we can see the different protocols, and if you go to the IPFS link and then click it there, and then it will show you like a decentralized front end. So if we just go to Uniswap, for example, you go up to the top here, it's got some mad URL, like you can ignore that, but this still works as normal, right? So I can connect my wallet. Let me do this, and then I can actually do some swaps. So this is the decentralized front end for Compound, and here is the regular website for Compound. And so as you can see, it looks the same. So if you have any additional resources that could help, please leave them in the comments down below. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.